racing quite a while now. I got started because my dad was a racer, so obviously, you know, racing and riding is kind of in the family, and I wanted to make everything growing up a competition. I don't really think the dirt bikes did that. I think that's just how I was, and the dirt bikes were the vehicle. As far as off-road racing, I've done pretty much everything there is to do. I would describe kind of my riding as sort of the classic jack of all trades, master of none. Like, I can show up almost anywhere and be in the top 5 and somewhat competitive, which is something I actually take a lot of pride in, being versatile. For me, being, you know, a 5'6" female, you know, riding a bike that outweighs me by 100 pounds at least, often more, you have to be strong. Basically what I do is I try and take a somewhat scientific approach at it, and I look at what the physical demands are of riding a dirt bike and try and map that onto the off-bike training. To mentally get in the zone for racing, the first thing you gotta keep in mind is you have to know your own individual mental makeup. This is a dangerous sport, you can't get past that really. So you try and be safe, you try not to ride over your head, but you can't be afraid to make mistakes, like especially when you're trying to learn something new. No matter how good you are, even the pros fall down. In 2019, I crashed at the Alligator National Enduro. When it happened, I had to actually grab my arm and carry my arm back. So this is often a career-ending injury for a lot of people. I was not going to stop because if I stopped riding, they were never ever going to take me back, and I wasn't going to get to do 6 days again. So to get the call back last year, and then not only to get the call, get to go, but for us to win the trophy, like, that was a very huge deal to me. In this sport, especially at the pro level, there are a lot of people who take themselves really seriously, and maybe that's why they maybe have more #1 plates than I do. For me, it's never really been so much about the accomplishments, but it's more about like all the things being on a dirt bike has allowed me to do. And not just the big stuff. Like, yeah, riding my dirt bike in Italy and winning the world trophy, that was a pretty cool experience. But even just like going to the local enduro and bench racing with my buddies between sections, or, you know, coming up on a really cool feature on a trail and, you know, I don't know if I could do that, and then actually making it. It's not even just the big experience, it's all the little ones you get to have. So one thing that's really nice to see in our sport right now is how much women's participation is growing. When you start to think about the kind of legacy you want to leave behind, and the main thing for me is I want to leave the women's side of the sport in a better place than when I found it.